What up? It's your boy T-Bear, and the reaction today is Wrestling Wednesday. So, we'll kick this off with this video here from WrestleMania involving a situation that's like the high top list of making wrestling fans toxic as hell. Like we get that wrestlers certain people don't like, fans don't like certain wrestlers based off of alignment situations. Like, you know me, I want to roll with the heels and anything over there. Focuses they don't have something against faces, or wrestlers got something against wrestler in general, regardless of their alignment at the time. But it's nothing that serious to be sending out death threats. And that seemed like the big thing that's like getting out of control as late, especially with the internet, Twitter, and all that. Most recent one I heard was Alexa Bliss get a death threat through her and her husband that some wrestling fan was threatening to gun them down, and I'm like, wow. Like I said, I just like certain wrestlers at the moment based on the characters and wrestling in general, Roman Reigns as a tribal piece of shit and punchable face Freeman. But I have nothing against Joe Inoue, Maxwell Freeman, or any other guys I'm not okay with characters. I have nothing against them personally or ill will it bother them and anything to the point of where you wanted to send death threats. It's not that serious. It's never that serious to wrestling to the point of pushing death threats. Even back in the day, it was worse. Territorial days, heels. If you was a wrestling heel, you would damn near get shot on spot. That's how bad it was. So this is like new age with technology and all that is bad. But either way, without further ado, let's check out WrestleMania's little talk about wrestlers receiving death threats. So let's get it.
In the past, it was rather common for villainous WWE superstars to receive death threats. This was mainly because fans, if you can call them that, believed that these individuals were actually pure evil in real life, and consequently they wished death upon them. Now you would assume that due to WWE being a PG presentation and most wrestlers breaking character in outside interviews, that these threats would have stopped. But you would be wrong, due to popularity of
social media. And then you got stuff like that, where wrestlers getting tackled as well too, attacked by fans.
Social media and the ability to hide behind an anonymous profile, this has unfortunately led to an influx of death threats towards WWE superstars. But which ones were they? Well, join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 WWE superstars who received death threats. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10, Baron Corbin.
Not surprised, he's like the big right now. Like aside from guys like Roman, Eminem, he's like him and MJ like on the self-level top heel right now, like most hated heel that they could go away hitting all that and everything, especially MJF right now. But he's definitely like MJF equivalent as far as WWE.
Extreme Rules 2019 featured a mixed tag match which involved Seth Rollins teaming with Becky Lynch to take on Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. During the match, Corbin would hit Lynch with an end of days to the utter shock of the fans in attendance. Male on female offense is extremely limited in WWE, and fans were in total disbelief that WWE allowed something of this nature. It was a great moment that added to Corbin's heel persona, but some fans were out for blood. According to Corbin, during his appearance on the Out of Character podcast with Ryan Satin, he received multiple death threats. He stated, "When I hit Becky with the end of days, I was getting death threats on a regular basis. 95% of critics are on the internet or safely behind somewhere they can't be accessed. Roman said it the best one time, that he's never met a hater in real life. That's the same kind of thing with me. It'd be funny if at the airport all the guys hanging there for autographs were like, open your Twitter and let me see if you're blocked or not to decide if you can get an autograph. It's funny, it's the cool thing to do now in life. People just want to drag people down. It makes them feel good, but my whole career has been that way with social media. But now it's 10 times the way the world is. You gotta have thick skin, man."
It's sad facts though. Like it's where he said that people were things cool things drag people down. It's facts. And coaches ain't just wrestlers. It's like celebs in general, as well as people and everyday people as well too. Like people it's like they're folks are like it's I feel like it's so sad that folks it's like their compliment, it makes somebody feel like shit. Like, why would you have that type of why? What's the gain of that? I mean, just to, why that if that makes you feel better, then you are definitely a miserable person. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. They always say misery love company. Well, they looking for the company for their miserable life. This is sad.
Number 9, the Daivari brothers. In 2018,
Daivari, I'm thinking of the Singh brothers, but wow. Oh, and shout out to them, both of them working as what they call them now? Not securities officials in WWE. When they both were seen during the Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes brawl.
WWE presented the greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. During the pay-per-view, there was a segment in which WWE introduced new prospects from Saudi, and this led to the Daivari brothers interrupting, waving the Iranian flag. This segment was just entertainment, but it deeply offended a number of individuals who made death threats towards both of the Daivari brothers. In fact, this got so serious that Araya Daivari had to put out a public apology stating it was just a wrestling sketch and that the brothers never meant any harm. Although the backlash to the angle was extreme, Araya did go on to say that sharing the ring with his brother was a moment he would remember forever. Number 8, Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley has been involved in a number of infamous storylines during his career, but without a doubt the worst of them of all time was the time he began to date Lana. Lana would leave Rusev in favor of Lashley, and this led to a feud that
storyline was like, what the fuck? I mean,
seemingly went on forever. Although this was obviously just a storyline, there were those that actually thought that Lashley had ruined Rusev's life, and this led to Lashley receiving several death threats in real life. Lashley would discuss these death threats in a number of interviews, and Lashley would even claim that he wasn't scared or intimidated. Lashley would state that he was an easy man to find, virtually challenging anyone that had an issue with him to step up and do something about it.
I mean, I guess it's tough, but I wouldn't take a chance with that though, because even a bullet can still take out a tough man though. So that's all I'm gonna say.
7, William Regal. Now, it's not just heels that receive death threats. Sometimes even universally beloved stars aren't immune to being targeted. William Regal is a pro wrestling legend, and it's hard to find someone that has an issue with the former NXT general manager. In 2012, Regal would state that he received a death threat every single day, but he didn't go into detail in relation to the form this took. 3 years later,
this is when he was doing his hill run probably, but still.
Regal took to Twitter to ask help from fans, and someone called his house and threatened to take everything he loved away. This was serious stuff, and Regal would then claim there was another call asking someone was going to harm Regal's family. It's unknown if the perpetrator was caught, but this was a sick act that hopefully had a ton of police intervention. Number 6, Carmella.
I think I kind of heard about this.
That Carmella was dating Corey Graves. A ton of backlash. There were those that accused Carmella of quote-unquote breaking up a happy marriage. Some individuals took this one step further and actually sent the former women's champion threats. A lot of this would play on Total Divas, and whilst Total Divas forces a lot of their storylines, this was actually 100% real.
I had nothing to do with this.
I'm not okay right now. Literally, I'm getting death threats.
With WWE now openly admitting that Carmella and Corey are in a happy relationship, hopefully this has stopped those twisted individuals making these drastic threats. Number 5, Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter. In 2013, Jack Swagger would debut a brand new character alongside his manager Zeb Coulter. This new character would have strong anti-immigration beliefs, and due to the subject nature of these beliefs, it was rather controversial. According to both Swagger and Coulter in a number of interviews, the storyline upset a lot of people, so much so that they were actually receiving death threats, as people couldn't believe the remarks that were coming out of their mouths. Coulter would discuss how the gimmick was received during an interview with Sports Illustrated and stated, "I thought the liberals wouldn't like, but it was the conservatives who hated it. I got a lot of press. I was sitting in catering one day and one of the higher officers in WWE said, 'You play your Zeb character really well, almost too well. Wrestling is only fake until you do something that the people don't like. And all of a sudden it's dead serious. WWE got a lot of heat and I got some death threats.'" Number 4, Alexa Bliss. Former women's champion Alexa Bliss is one of the most popular female WWE stars on social media. But in 2022, she had no choice but to call out those who send her and her fiancé death threats. This all surfaced after scammers were pretending to be Bliss on social media, and they were asking fans to part with their money to seemingly help the real WWE superstar. Bliss would tweet on Twitter, "And I really hate that this needs to be said again. No, you are not talking to me on any other social outlet. No, you do not get DMs from a personal act from me. no, we are not dating, no, I am not asking for money, and death threats to me and my fiance are not okay.
Why are you? Why? That's all I gotta say is why. Why folks gotta take stuff to the next level? A person like that just needs psychiatric help. You know what I'm saying? Again, heavens, it will sort of our character is one thing, but to the point you want to do death threats and all of that, and then stalking and all of this, it's not that serious, man. It's like it's kind of ruined the fandom. It makes fellow wrestling fans look bad, in my opinion.
3. Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans was thrown into the biggest storyline of her career in early 2021 as she would begin a storyline with Ric Flair. This storyline received terrible reviews from fans, and it did very little to elevate
it was a bad storyline.
Although the storyline was poor, this was no excuse to send Lacey death threats.
It wasn't.
Lacey took to Twitter to reveal that some fans believed it was appropriate to sending her intimidating messages. The tweet read, "How it started, how it's going. They've created me. The work put in, hills I've climbed, and routes I've had to take. The negative and belittling fans, the death threats and disgusting messages left daily. Yet here I am, still standing through it all, not backing down from anyone." Number 2, Ric Flair. In 2014, 16-time world champion Ric Flair received a number of death threats, but this had nothing to do with the world of pro wrestling. Flair planned to attend the Carolina Panthers and San Francisco 49ers game, but due to threats on his life, Flair was forced to abandon plans to attend the game. This surfaced thanks to Flair giving a pep talk to the 49ers before their game, and this didn't sit well with supporters of the Panthers. Flair's agent released a public statement which read, "We know fans are passionate about their teams, but some of the choice language we've been receiving is scaring off our interns." When the 49ers reached out and WWE asked Rick to jet up there, of course he said yes. He's friends with a bunch of the 49ers, just like he is with the Panthers, Packers, and many other NFL players. But no, Rick does not intend on attending the Panthers vs 49ers game this weekend. And number 1, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan made a monumental decision in 2021. He was gonna leave WWE in favor of signing with AEW. This was a huge loss to WWE as Bryan was one of their top stars and he would have been deeply missed. The majority of fans were happy for Bryan, but there were those die-hard WWE fans who were deeply hurt by Bryan leaving the company, and they for whatever reason decided to send Bryan death threats. Discussing the fans' response to him leaving WWE in 2021, Bryan would state during an interview with ABC 6 Action News that, "So it just felt weird. You know, there's a decent amount of tribalism in our culture today.
It is.
People are, say politically, if you're right, everything on the left is bad. If you're on the left, everything on the right is bad, and same thing with wrestling. There's WWE fans, and the worst ones would be like sending death threats to me on Instagram and like, I hope you die, or I hope your son dies, or something like that. But that's a small minority."
I think
it's bad enough you're sending death threats to the wrestler himself. It's bad enough you ain't sending it to spouses. But kids involved, come on, man. You're taking the FTK, FDK, wherever initially you want to use it, a mentality too far, man. You know what I'm talking about. The F kids and all that stuff. That's taking that to the far, man. It's bad enough. I don't like the term regardless. I don't care people playing around with it. I don't like it anyway. I get that. It was funny. It was funny what Bernie Mac said, but now people just use it constantly use it constantly though. But it's bad enough that use it constantly, and right now that term need to be taking a hiatus for a while, especially dealing with what we dealt with recently with the elementary school situation. But that terminology needed this. Terminology generally needs this be retired. But folks love to be petty and dumb. But this is ridiculous. Like, it's not that serious for you to threaten the wrestler himself, their family, or even worse, their kids. It's not that serious. Anyway,
I think wrestling fans, for the most part, are great people and great humans.
But there you have it, folks. 10 WWE superstars.
It's the thing. This is why wrestling the way is the way they are. That's why folks don't even care about the fans no more, because the bad example of fans push wrestlers to not even want to associate with them. Some don't even want to talk to them when they see them. Because you got wrestlers who send death threats. You got wrestlers who can't keep their hands face off. at events. You got a wrestler attacking fans attacking wrestler. Even especially in the indies though, it's worse in the indies because there's a video squirting around about a heel female manager was doing what she does and to the crowd. I mean, and somebody took an offense and literally got up and whooped her and started fighting her, like physically fighting her. I'm like, wow, it's not that serious. It's like, okay, we get you're supposed to have the hate and dislike for the heels. Sometimes I feel like I can't tell. Sometimes it's supposed to be on some of the heels nuts, and you're supposed to have like for the face, or if you one that rolls with the heels, but and have just like a face that's them, or you have a dislike for the wrestler just in general because you don't like the person, you don't like how they like the booking, you don't like their skills and nothing like that. Okay, we get that, but it's still not that serious now to physically get physical with them, send death threats, none of that. It's not that serious, and it makes wrestling fandom looks bad. All right, and it's bad enough we got that going on in Hollywood in general because that led to a lot of some Hollywood and music world deaths as well too. But other than that, I don't know what to say. Y'all comment down below y'all thoughts on a situation like these and everything. I know that Ross reacted to this. I can't wait to see his reaction in response to this. I know he has some words to say. But yeah, it's not that serious. Like I say, you seen me have my little moments about the heel characters, especially like MJF or Joe No and anything. But it's not that serious with them. Like I got respect for Joseph and Noah. I got respect somewhat for Maxwell Freeman. Well, I say somewhat because I'm trying to see what's going on with the situation with him and AEW right now, but it's not a big deal. I even have respect for guys like who's big time heels that I can't stand right. That was like known heels through the years or anything. Like you're going to have respect them regardless because when they get legendary status and everything, get Hall of Fame, they get treated like they're faces. Even though they was best known for heels, you wouldn't like how they get treated. You wouldn't know they was like the biggest heel during the day, but. Like, we left that shit in the territorial days of sending death threats and on-site and all that. It's new age, like, cut it out. So anyway, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.